I want to give you another update on the Chetco Bar Fire and Miller Complex fires here in our area of Jackson County, Oregon. But first, I got to put this on. It has gotten so bad, you're not even supposed to be outside for any length of time now without a mask. Anyhow, today's Tuesday, the 5th of September 2017. The Chetco Bar Fire is now at 170,000 acres. It's blown up. There are level 3 evacuations. That means people are being evacuated on the outskirts of the city of Brookings. It's also traveled across those mountains there, and this way towards us, and it's at the far edge of Josephine County, which is the county right next to us. We're like 5 miles from the county line. What they're saying around here now in this part of Oregon is that black is the new green. I was to be going on a bow hunting trip today, 10-day bow hunt for mule deer in eastern Oregon. That's now canceled because I have to stay here and take care of the dogs in the house, and this is just absolutely a travesty. There's just no other way to put it.
Time for the outdoor report. Normally we would have done it yesterday, except that, well, we were not laboring on Labor Day. And Mr. Outdoors is here. Greg Roberts from RogueWeather.com. Hi, Greg.
Good morning, Bill. And now it is officially happy anniversary. It's 6 years now that we've been doing this.
6 years. Oh, gosh. You know, now it's not the 7-year itch yet time either. So.
No, not yet.
Yeah. And today on the 6th anniversary, we're wearing N95 masks here in Southern Oregon.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that whole thing is just, I've talked to quite a few people, in the last week, because you and I have kind of talked about putting something together by way of a town hall situation, and it's kind of remarkable now what people's attitude on this whole thing has been.
And you have to hang on to this. You must hang on to this because there are times that, when it comes right down to it, rules for radicals works. You hate to admit this, but it does.
Well, exactly. And I've told a few people that, somebody once gave the advice, you never let a crisis go to waste. Good idea. I think I'll take that.
Yeah, Rahm Emanuel.
Yep.
And you have all these people out there that are talking about what we're experiencing right now as being part of, here we go, climate change. And yet we've had hotter summers. We've had cooler summers. This is about fuel load. This has been about an actual choice being made by humans in Southern Oregon that has led to what we're experiencing right now. This is no accident. And this is where we must be truthful with one another. And people who have promoted, no kind of thinning, no logging, no real management must be held to account.
Yeah, and then when your policies fail, as they're going to, climate change and a few other things they've managed to drag up, including one that I'm personally very offended by, makes a real convenient, literally smokescreen for what actually happened here.
But you're hearing the conversation, too, even about Hurricane Harvey. All right, Hurricane Harvey, this is climate change. All right, so what was the climate change in 1900 when the hurricane in Galveston killed, 12,000 people at that point?
Yeah, exactly. And then you have more than enough people here in this area who vividly remember that, having our valleys full of smoke like this to the point where it's sustained and it produces severe negative impacts literally on every aspect of life here, they know this was not the normal. And quite a few of them have been in touch with me and go, am I crazy, or did it just seem like this started about 20 years ago? And I said, no, you're not crazy, because I've always said this, that prior to 2002, we didn't have this issue. Not like this. I can remember 2 years where it did happen, and both for very good reasons. And, you look at what else. What happened 20 years ago? Well, I'm going to give you the first thing. loggers essentially disappeared out of the woods. And I don't care if Gangrene likes it or not. Facts are facts. Facts are what they are. And they can't conveniently rearrange the facts to suit their storyline. And their storyline gets blown all to hell when you suddenly realize that the greatest initial attack force we had out there suddenly disappears, and all of a sudden we've got all these big mega fires ripping all over the place. Gee, oh no, those two things can't possibly be related.
And I think you also have to look at what the mission statement changes have been from the U.S. Forest Service, as an example. Wasn't it in the late 70s where we went from managing issues to managing ecosystems? Wasn't that pretty much?
Actually, that's a little early.
A little early?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely
1980s, all right. All right, it was the 1980s.
In the 80s and the 90s, that was occurring.
And then we've gotten to the point where we don't really work on active fire suppression. Fire, of course, fire is a natural part of a healthy forest. But that doesn't mean that you let it burn in mid-July.
Exactly. And, you know, if I'm going to speak very bluntly on that particular topic, I am a proponent of fire. You've heard me be a proponent of fire on your show, but fire with limitations.
Yeah.
When I was conducting controlled burns, and I've done a lot of them, if we produced so much smoke that it was starting to go down into the valley floor and the air sheds, we had to shut that thing down as fast as we possibly could. That rule has not changed at all. Mm-hmm. So why the contradiction?
Well, it's because we've had a lot of this start on the scars of wilderness fires, such as the Biscuit Fire. Yeah,
and that's something else. I've had it. I above anybody else understand that you have to keep firefighters safe. As an incident commander going out on fires, my first rule of thumb was everybody comes home. That's the first thing I was striving for. But it is absolute crap to say you're engaging a fire by dropping firefighters in 6 miles away. I know that country up there. I know you'd have to give some ground up. I'm not stupid. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that dropping 40 guys 6 miles away is engaging the fire. And don't hand me that wretched, pathetic excuse about, oh, but our resources were stretched thin. They certainly weren't on July 12th through the 16th.
No, they weren't. Well, I had gentlemen calling me that were retired firefighters back from the day. They were calling me then, and they were posing this question, why are they, I'm watching them set the fire line 6 miles back.
And it was not much of a fire line either. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to do that, that probably would have been a really damn good time to actually fight fire with fire, get a helicopter up there, drop the ping pong balls in, and actually introduce more fire to create a burnout situation when you can control it, when you did have low to moderate intensity, before you had a Chetco and blew this thing up. And people have said, well, how would you have done this differently? Well, there's one of the first clues.
And first of all, I would have had only people that actually understood the fire conditions around here because, from what we're told, a lot of people from out of town were calling shots on this.
Yeah, and there is another huge issue. You bring in people from out of town that I guarantee you that NIMO team that came in had no clue what a Chetco effect was, had never heard of it, and because of the way they reacted to it and then what they publicly admitted, they also therefore publicly admitted they didn't even talk to anybody local to find out what was going on. I went on a deployment to Utah and Colorado and was involved in command in country I'd never been in. Do you know what one of the first things we did was?
I'll bet you talked with the locals
and said, we have got to know all of the local variables that could influence fire behavior, and we brought in people and said, if Mother Nature sneezes on a regular basis here, we want to know about it, and we want to know how it's going to affect fire behavior.
Even crazier out on the coast, Court Boyce joins us. He's Josephine Curry County Commissioner. How you doing this morning, Court? It's great to have you back on the show.
Well, thank you, and doing okay.
Now,
good to be with you, Bill.
Yeah, you were up late last night. What were you involved in?
The fire's expanding, and basically in all directions. And yes, on the east side, it's I think, about 8 linear miles from Selma.
What about holding people accountable to this, though? Because I think we talked about this last time a little bit, is that this is no accident. What has happened here to Southern Oregon, what has happened to your town and your county, out on the coast, you see the pictures of people taking pictures of, from Brookings. You're looking through downtown Brookings up towards the fire. It's effectively a scene out of Dante's Inferno. I mean, and it's playing out in real time as we speak. And I'm concerned that this will just get, brushed under the carpet here we were following procedures and this is it. And, we didn't know that the Chetco winds were going to be this dry and hot and fierce and whip us around. How could we have possibly known? Can you give us the status of the accountability conversation?
If this fire would have been fought in the beginning from a fire department standpoint instead of a management, yes, I have a history going back pre-July that almost predicted this with some wise people that we tried to be on our toes, and to have this happen. I mean, you just sit on the ocean, you look anywhere in this county eastward, and you see massive amounts of forest. So it was not in early July to suggest that we're the highest at-risk area for fire, maybe in the country.
Are the elected officials getting down the rabbit hole to the extent where we know who actually made these calls? That's what I'm trying to find out. Do we know
and
yet?
I'm not ducking your question. I appreciate that, and it is important. There has to be a major fact-finding effort, and we are working on that, and we're getting help. We're getting help from around the state, from different organizations, from people who've been studying this forever. How did we get here, and how do we prevent this, and how do we hold those accountable? I'm with you, and
good.
I accept that absolutely. Am I ready to name names? You can start here local, but it needs to go to the top. It needs to go to every public official needs to face the music here on how we got here. And yes, this could have been absolutely avoided. There's no doubt in my mind, and it is part of what we're dealing with in the overall. I mentioned.
I know we have the Miller complex here a little closer to Medford. That's causing all sorts of problems. But what we do know about Chetco, the big granddaddy of all the fires right now at 170,000 acres, was a quarter of an acre on July 12th. A quarter of an acre, Court. Now, you're a smart guy. I mean, you know that the time to have strangled that fire baby was when it was in the crib. Yeah?
I can't tell you this. I don't think I mentioned last time I was on your show, Bill, but on whatever that Monday was, I think it was the 18th of July, the fire was still on 100 acres, I asked the Forest Service to hit it with water hard. What I was told was that hitting it with water could have actually, brace yourself here, could have actually washed embers down the side of the mountain and the risk of starting additional fires. I asked, could you please repeat that? And word for word, that's what I was told. And that was by the district ranger here. And I mean, yes, you could have knocked me over with a feather.
Okay. Who's the district ranger there?
Okay, you're Tina Lanier.
Okay,
and,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, and then it goes up the ladder from there. That fire, I begged her to put it out, and here we are.